Welcome to Season 2 of the Color Success Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Stephanie J. Wong. Jessica Wu is a Las Vegas local. She has recently seen massive success as a viral food and lifestyle content creator for her creative and magical short clips of assembling bento-style lunches. She has surpassed over 4 million TikTok followers and has people eagerly watching and sharing her cooking and lunch videos mixed in with DIY ideas, family fun, beauty, trends, and lifestyle content. She and her family's love of food inspire many of her videos, with the love of eating and incorporating healthy ethnic dishes styled up for her internet community. She was recently featured in both Vogue Teen and People magazine as one of the top TikTok food talents to follow. She was also featured in the Los Angeles Times, Good Morning America, BuzzFeed, BuzzFeed Tasty, Access Hollywood, and The Doctors. This supermom lives with her 3 daughters, Adeline, Maxine, Olive, her boyfriend Matthew, and her 2 Chihuahua mixed puppies. I want to welcome Jessica to the show. Well, again, thank you so much for being on the show. I really wanted to dive deeper into your whole process of becoming the queen of homemade lunches. I mean, it's just so adorable. Your videos are so cute. And so can you tell us a little bit more about how this journey came to this point?
Yeah, so basically the lunch thing is fairly new. I started making the lunch TikToks in like February of last year, and that was just something, I did already. Like I make lunch every day already for my kids. My oldest daughter, she's 9, so I've been doing it since she was in kindergarten, so about 5 years. And yeah, it was like, one of those things that you just kind of do. And my sister was like, hey, you should start filming your lunches because they're cute. She always says like, you're extra even before extra, like she was just like, you're always doing something like that. And I think that just has to do with me. I have an art background, like my whole dad's side of the family are artists. So I think that just kind of runs in my blood of like making things pretty. I do makeup for a living, so that, helps too. So yeah, I just recorded the lunch. I actually started a different account a little bit sooner than my account that is big now. And for some reason, TikTok deleted my account. So I'm not sure what happened. Yeah, but all of a sudden it was like gone and I couldn't log in. And I was like, well, so I, stopped for a little bit and then I started back again in February. And that's when my video went viral. And I'm kind of glad that they did, because I'm like, oh, maybe it was it was just meant to me not having that account and then just this new account blowing up. So February, actually today's my anniversary of my video going.
Oh, happy anniversary. I feel special like being here with you.
It's been a year since my first viral video. And after that video, it was, just snowballed from there. I got 100,000 followers because of that video. And I had a marketing, that's what I went to school for. So once my video went viral, I kind of just like ran with it. I took the momentum and, really used that to my advantage.
Well, that brings up a really good point about social media, because when something goes viral, all of a sudden there's all this attention on you. I mean, good and bad and everything in between. I mean, can you speak a little bit about the awesome parts of it and then maybe the challenges?
Yeah. Obviously the awesome part is me being, me doing what I do already, which is, it makes it easier for me to create content, because it's like, oh, you like me making lunch for my kids. Like, okay, well, I'm doing it already. And I like to incorporate a lot of my family into my stuff. And that's just, that's just our family. Like I love doing everything with them already. So it's like, if they enjoy it too, then of course I'm going to include them into something like I call work now, which is so crazy. But yeah, I do this full time. I'm getting paid for it. I've worked with amazing companies like I would have never dreamed of working with. Like today, I just did one with Google. So that part is amazing. And of course, all the support and the love, all these people send me amazing messages. And that's what really makes it amazing, is that I get heartfelt messages from people all over the world saying how I've inspired them, whether it's just cooking more or having a better relationship with their family, getting their kids in the kitchen, but also stuff like anxiety or depression or eating disorders or anything like that. Like, if they, I mean, it's hard to even talk about that to anybody, but for them to even send me messages like that really makes me feel like, wow, these are not just like what I do for my kids. It's more than that. And that really makes it special. And of course, there is, being online, there's bad things like, all the hate comments. I'm very vocal with what I believe in and what I stand up for. I've always been like that, so it's nothing new for me. And I feel like if I'm going to be this person that people are looking up to, I want to show them pretty much like who I am, and that's a big part of who I am. So no one's going to like a person 100%. Like they're not going to, think the same things, believe in the same things, and that's fine. But with that, you get a lot of opinions and hate, and even being a parent, you get a lot of judgment already because you notice it right off the bat when you're pregnant. People are like, do this, don't do this, this
Yeah.
is right or wrong. So I mean, it comes with the territory. A lot of comments, a lot of trolls, but with me, I've always been like, I don't care, so
Yeah.
for me, it's like, okay, like sometimes I'll get like, oh, that really like that's not true. Or like, most of it is just like assumptions anyway, because they don't know who I am. So sometimes I'll just be like, nah, whatever. But
And do you ever respond to any of these comments? Like, are there certain ones where you're just like, you crossed the line, or?
I do. I try I try not to, because I'm like,
It engages them, yeah.
yeah, it engages them, and it might be come back to me. Some people like to twist my words, or like when you're talking to someone online, it comes off differently. Like there's no tone. So sometimes, I'll write it out and then be like, okay, no, just don't do it. But yeah, I mean, I do sometimes. If they say like, there's a lot of people who are like, oh, she's a stay-at-home mom, she has a nanny, she doesn't do this or that. And I'm like, no, like I've been a single mom. With multiple kids, I started with nothing. Like I've been there. Like obviously, like I make good money doing this now, and it's like, and my boyfriend helps me out, and whatever. But it's like, yeah, I don't know.
I mean, they judge you based on your videos, right? And
Right. And
so,
they think I wake up at like 5 a.m, spend hours doing this. And I'm like, no, like who really has time to do
yeah.
that? And I'm like, no, I would never spend, hours and hours doing this. And I mean, I might now because it's like my job, but
Yeah.
yeah. And that's the thing. Like I just show what I love doing with my family. And it's nothing like you should be doing this, or this is what, you need to do. Of course not. Like, everyone has their own lives and what they can do for their kids. And I don't judge other moms, or, it's like everyone's going through their own thing. And if this makes my kids happy, then that's why I do it. So.
Well, and I think that's the beauty of TikTok. I mean, again, TikTok's my husband's thing, but I mean, the reason why he's gained such a following is because we just live our lives, and we just like to joke around with each other, and he pranks my mom, and all those things. And so I think there's something nice about being authentic that, I mean, people really resonate with you. And I mean, I think when you become a parent, you realize like parents have to do what works for them, and it's not going to be a one size fits all approach. I mean, you have three, I have two, and it's like they have different temperaments. Like you
Right.
can't even parent your kids the exact same way. And so there's so much variability.
Right. Yeah. There was a TikTok this lady posted, and she was like, I breastfed my kids, my sister formula fed, I sent my kids to private school. She sent hers to public school. And, like she was basically saying all these different like things that they did, but then they both ended up having, hers was like bad. And then her sister's was like really good, even, and it's like, no matter what you do, it's like you can do your best. And then, you just
Hope
have
it
your
works
kids,
out.
right? Like I have three, like my youngest is picky eater, like, but I fed them all the same things, and my older two are more open. But yeah, I mean, kids go through their phases too. So it's like, no one's perfect.
So you've talked about being a single mom. And so can you tell me a little bit more about that? Because one, you deserve a medal because I can't even imagine doing that. And how you coped with three kids and doing that, living
So
that
yeah,
lifestyle.
I divorced my older two's dad. We were married, and my kids were like 2.5 and 3.5. They're oh no, like 5. Sorry, they're like 2.5 years apart. So 2.5 and 5. And it was hard because our divorce was not he was not happy. Like he did not want to get divorced. And it's like it's harder when the divorce is not like mutual.
Mutual. Yeah.
Yeah. And he didn't want to do things amicably. So
Hi.
I
It's so cute.
go and close the door, please. Please. Thank you, baby. And tell Addie mom's on the computer. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Love you. Sorry.
No worries.
I told her already. And she's always like, what are you doing? And then
My younger one comes in and starts humming just to get paper. And I'm on a meeting and I was like, oh yeah, that's her just getting paper.
sorry. Where were we? Oh yeah. Being a single mom. So it was tough. Like I saved up cash to like start my own life, have my own place. And then I actually someone broke in my house, stole
Oh
all
my
the money I was
goodness.
saving, like everything was bad. And then so in my like mind, I was like, you know what, there's never gonna be a right time to do this, like
Mm-hmm.
because when you're thinking about divorce, it's like you think about it a lot before you actually make the decision. People might not know this because you might not show it on your outside appearance or talk about it. I never really talked about it to my friends or my family because I didn't want the opinions and so I just kept it to myself. I just kind of says, like I said, I was trying to save up and be okay if we just left and all that stuff. And then it was like that happened, and it's like, okay, well, what am I going to do now? So I basically had nothing. I had no furniture. He took my car. I didn't have money. So then I actually had to just like move in with my parents and start over. And yeah, I mean, everything works out in the end. You just have to, stay strong. I know it's hard for people to think like, oh, can I do this alone? But it's like, I felt to me, I was already like doing it alone because he wasn't very supportive and he wasn't really there for his family. So that was a big part of why, we left. But yeah, I mean, sorry, not to get into
No, this is what this is here for. I mean, I'm a psychologist and this is not a therapy session, but I think it's really important for people to hear. And that's why I was hoping to have you on the show, is because there's so many layers to people and their stories. And I think in terms of giving inspiration to other single moms or people teetering on whether they should separate or get a divorce, I mean, there's a lot of strategies and coping that needs to be involved. Like, you're super resilient and such a strong woman. What or who do you attribute that to?
Honestly, I don't know. I feel like a little bit of everyone, because it's not like I came from a split family, and so I just like a little bit of everyone, I think, just kind of encouraging. And like once you have kids, it's like being a mom, you just kind of want to be the best and provide the best for your kids. So it's something like that came natural, you know. It's not like I mean, obviously there's times where I wanted to be like, you know, I want to give up, or like, this is hard, but not really, because you have these kids and you want to do everything for them. So yeah, that was a big hard part in my time. But it's like, you know, I saved money, I got a car, I got my own place, and then I raised my girls. And you know, I was working full time. It was hard trying to find people to like pick them up, or trying to work my schedule. And those are like little things, you know. It's hard at the time, but when you think about it, it's like, you know, you got through it, you can do it. And I basically just relied on a lot of my close friends. You know, they were a big support system, where I would be like, I can't pick them up, can you, you know, pick them up for me and keep them for like an hour? And you know, that was amazing to have that group of, you know, friends and family that could help me.
That's amazing. And, you know, something that you spoke about, circling back to speaking up and basically being assertive. One of my closest friends always says, stand for something or you'll fall for anything. And so I know this wasn't kind of planned, but since we last spoke, there's been a rise, or at least more news coverage on the attacks on Asians and Asian Americans. And I love that you post about it. We mutually post on our different social medias about it. And so I'm wondering, you know, what your thoughts are on it, and what do you think that we can do as individuals and families and community?
Obviously, I feel like we've all experienced this, like growing up, you know, like it's nothing that's new or really surprising. Um, I think it was just like everyone knows, you know, Asians just kind of suppress everything, or just kind of, you know, it's like, don't think about it, don't let it get to you kind of feeling. But obviously, because of COVID too, it's been getting worse. And I mean, it's just crazy that like this time and age we have to still like talk about these things, and like there's still problems and things are getting worse. And I mean, I feel like our generation is great for speaking up, and I'm glad that we are, you know, like. And it's kind of like the cultural divide of like our elders who are like, you know, don't say anything, don't do this. But
Right.
you know, we're growing up and we're acknowledging these things, and it needs to be done, which is, you know, obviously apparent, because that's why the news wasn't covering the, you know, anything, because no one was talking about it. It's like, but now they're starting to. And now all these big brands like, you know, Nike, and you know, I just saw Mac do it. And so it's good that it's like, obviously, that we're more outspoken, but it's like, it sucks that it has to be at the time where things are not getting better and just getting worse. So yeah, I mean, I feel like we just have to stand together, you know, and just tell people what's happening. And that's just what's gonna help us have justice and spread equality and just be kind to one another. You know, it's just like a human thing, where not just Asians, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I mean, have you had conversations with your kids? Because I've had to talk with them, of course, age appropriate discussions, I suppose. But I mean, what are some of the messages that you are discussing with your kids?
you know, it's like one of those things where it's like, you kind of don't want to, because you don't want them, because kids are already so innocent, and it's like you don't want to show that side. But it's important because it's out there, and even if they're not, you know, facing it straight on every day, it's like, you know, their peers might be, and they need to know what to, you know, what to see and how to figure stuff out and how to act around that kind of stuff. So yeah, during the whole BLM movement, in like over the summer, you know, when it was really big, I had, especially my oldest, she's 9, I had a few conversations with her, and I made a couple of videos about equality. Like I did like this egg thing where it's like a brown egg and a white egg. they look different on the outside, but in the inside, it's the same, it's the same egg. And that's like people, and they get it, and it's like you can see their minds like thinking, and to them it's so natural. Like my daughter's like, yeah, mom, I already know, like obviously treat everyone, she has a group of friends where they're all different races, but some kids might not be around different races, so they might not think about it, but it's good to discuss. It's it's just about like talking to your kids and just having an open conversation about anything, so then they can come to you and you can make the decision if it's something that you need to have a conversation about. And it's having that open relationship with your kids. It's really important. So,
and you record some of these conversations. I mean, clearly not all of it, but these interactions with your kids. I mean, how do you make the decision when to put your kids in videos, or how to protect their privacy to some extent, because they're out there, right?
right. Honestly, I, want to keep things as private as I can with our personal information and stuff. But it's like with me, I'm so family oriented. I do everything with my kids, like I said, and it's like something they enjoy doing. I would never force anything on them. So I always
Sure.
ask, like, hey, do you want to film something? Or, and if they don't, like my middle one, Maxine, sometimes she won't want to. Like sometimes she doesn't want me to record her eating or, whatever. So I just like, okay, that's fine. But sometimes she wants to. So, I kind of let them decide if they want to or not. My oldest loves doing it. She loves doing everything with me. And she, she gets upset when I like do something without her. So like
It's
with
like
her,
my 9-year-old for
yeah,
sure.
like when she's visiting her dad, like I'll be like, sorry, baby, I had to do this without you. And she's like, no, man. And I'm like, I know, I don't want to do it without you too. So that if they didn't want to at all, I would never have them in my videos. But this is something that they love. And it's something that I love doing with them. I'm not like forcing, let's make this because we need to make content. It's just something more natural where I'm already doing stuff with my kids. It's just another step where I have to film and edit.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it just depends on your family dynamic if you want to get them involved or not, or if they're even interested or not, and so I am thinking long term. I want to open all these doors for them if they want to do the same thing as me. And I want to give them all the tools and resources, and like obviously I'm doing it. So if they want to, I want to provide that for them.
Well, girl, you're building an empire, right? You want to give the throne over when it's time, right? And so I think that's what we want for our kids, is to be able to build something, this legacy aspect, because I think that's a huge thing that I see in terms of the Asian American community. Yes, we help each other, and our parents and elders help people buy homes and things like that, but actually passing on that social capital to thrive in today's world is very, very different
Right.
than these past generations that had to pretty much hustle to eat. And people still do that, obviously, but I think there's a various ways to kind of make money now. And luckily, because they paved the way for us.
Yeah, exactly. It's like if they want to do this, then why not? Why not give them the opportunities to start now? Because I mean, they know more than us. Like, I feel like I'm lucky to have kids because it's like you have to constantly evolve with them and see all the changes that come with, not just social media, but anything, and that puts me at an advantage because it's like that's why I got TikTok, is because my kids were talking. So, yeah, I mean, they're the future. And I feel like I wish I had that when I was younger.
Well, I was in a Clubhouse group yesterday talking about podcasts with some other podcast friends, and one person was saying, TikTok, I don't think anyone in here is a teenager. I'm like, but I have kids. So then right? And it's like they know how to work their way around a computer so young, and especially with virtual schooling, right? they know how to do all these kinds of things. So I think that's absolutely right. Like you learn from them as well as they are from you. So and I noticed that you're on Clubhouse a lot as well. I've had to limit my time because I'm like, I could be on here all day, right? But I
You
have
have to
other stuff to
definitely.
do as well. I mean, how do you see that playing into kind of your businesses and your authentic connections with people?
With Clubhouse.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I love it because I feel like I've met so many cool people, and it's just like we're not out there meeting new people, you know? So like it's like the perfect time to have that kind of app because we are all stuck at home. We can't socialize. You know, all we have is like random Zoom meetings or whatever. And we are craving that social interaction. And even though it's just audio, I feel like it just kind of reminds me of when me and my best friend would talk for hours on the phone and we'd fall asleep, you know, and it's kind of like that. And it's like you get to actually talk to people without having any like weird like a Zoom meeting, you know, you're just
Right.
like we're just in this meeting. We don't not everyone gets to talk. And yeah, it's just a different way of connecting. I got to talk to a lot of creator friends that I've been friends with a while, but it's like we just DM
Yeah.
or text and it's not like we're gonna call each other because that's weird, you know. So it breaks down the barrier of having a phone conversation basically without having to call one-on-one and connecting that way. And yeah, just there's so many cool people on there. So,
Yeah.
just even listening to all these people talk, like Tyler Florence has been going um the Food Network.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been going on and talking and just listening. I just saw him like listen in on the random room that I was in. So yeah, it's cool and I like it. But yeah, it is a time sucker, so you need to just watch out because I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I need to leave.
Yeah, I definitely have to limit because especially if we're holding spaces for people to talk about feelings and mental health, I'm like, I want to be careful that I'm not making it feel like work. And I want to authentically connect with people. But I'm part of the K Dramatics Club and the BTS Army, so you have those groups as well. So, but this brings up the question though, as moms, as people trying to build empires, so to speak, how do you take care of yourself? What are your go-tos?
With content creating, especially, I just feel like you have to take a break. You know, a lot of people say they've been burning out, and with social media, everything's so instant and everything comes and goes so fast. So it's like it's hard to keep up with everything. And people, they're just constantly having to like do this, do this, do this. And it's like you have to just like take a break. And I'm really good about it because I'm just like I don't feel like doing that, and I'm not going to force myself because then I know I'm not gonna I want to do this for the long run. So I don't want to make it a job where I'm like forcing myself to do certain things every day. Obviously I have goals, I have, schedules and what I want to put out, but if I'm feeling like I don't want to because I've been doing so much already and editing and filming and editing, it's like you just have to take a break when your body obviously like we were talking about COVID like
Yeah.
telling me I need to chill out, like basically, yeah, take your time. Your audience will be there. They're not going to go anywhere, and people need to realize. And if you're open about it, like say, hey, in any of your socials, just like, hey, I just needed a break. I needed some, me time. And they'll completely agree. Like, take your time. They'll support you either way. So I feel like just taking a break, and just taking a break helps you in so many ways because with me, I know when I'm unmotivated, I run out of ideas or anything like that. When I just take a break, I'm more eager to get back to work and, more inspired and more motivated to do new things. And, it just kind of resets your body and your mind.
What
And
are others? You mentioned schedules and processes. I mean, do you have anyone that's on your team? Like, how do you reduce the risk of burnout in addition to taking a break?
I wish I had a team. I really need to try to put a team together because right now I'm doing everything and it's a lot, like not at once you start, it's like you get all the hard work. Like you understand all this work that goes into like, being your own brand and I do Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, all my emails, all my campaigns. I do everything. I do have an agency that helps me with my campaigns that I get emails from, but just because I like to connect and spend my time answering DMs and answering all my comments and all the questions that come with it, and I want to do that. So it's just you get pulled in so many different ways. And yeah, I think once you grow, you should delegate some things if you can and afford, you can afford to, then you definitely should. Because then you can focus on what you really love doing, which is content creating. So yeah, hopefully I can do that soon.
Definitely. No, I'm talking about burnout in our Podfest talk. So I think one of the big things was I recognized that I couldn't do it alone and it was growing. And, I don't like editing and it's really hard. I'm not a professional editor. I went to school for, psychology and
Right.
psychotherapy. So having a friend from elementary school whom I trust and is just amazing, like he was willing to help, so and it sounds like you have an amazing group of friends. So I'm sure there's some very creative, wonderful people out there who'd be willing to help you.
And that's the thing is, someone you trust, because it's like, I know a lot of my creator friends have this struggle of finding someone, and it's because we do everything and it's hard to let go of
Yes.
like certain aspects of it, because it's like, what if they don't do it right? Or what if you need to do this and they don't know how to do this? It's like all these things come into play. But yeah, I think once you let go a little bit, it's probably easier to do it more and more.
So tell us a little bit more about your campaigns and any new projects that you can kind of give us a little teaser about.
Yeah, I worked with so many cool brands like KitchenAid. I did Mattel toys, Netflix. Um, and we just did one for Google, and the Google one was amazing because it was about being safe online.
Mm.
And my girls got to do it with me. I just posted it today on my IG, but it was something that was really important to me to talk about, and it was awesome that they came to me, and we're like, we think you'd be perfect because you do speak about so many different things to your kids, and and you put that content out there. So it was a perfect fit because yeah, it was about internet safety. They're online literally 6 hours for
For
school,
school.
and
Yeah.
then they love gaming now. That's their thing. So they're gaming, or obviously they're on YouTube, everything's streaming online. So is it was amazing to have that kind of campaign that I was like, oh yeah, I would love to do that campaign because it's something that I want to talk about to my kids and also share to the world, that parents should be talking to their kids about internet safety.
No, it sounds like our kids would get along very, very well. They're really into Smash Brothers right now, and just obviously with learning everything on YouTube in terms of my oldest daughter loves to bake, and so she's always coming up with these tasty videos that she wants to try. And so I think that's such an important topic, especially with Zoom bombs, with people going into the classrooms and stuff like that. Like it's so important. And it's a different age, right? I would never have a conversation in the past when AOL was a thing,
Right.
like about internet safety.
Yeah. And even then, I was in random chat rooms, and it's like I probably shouldn't have been, on certain, like when I was younger, but it's like, yeah, I feel like our generation, we have the information to, speak about these things. So yeah, that was an amazing campaign that I was like thrilled to be a part of. And that's the thing. A lot of these companies kind of give me free reign. They like trust my content. They know who I am, which I love because it's not just like, oh, let me just pick her because she has this amount of followers.
Right.
It's like, oh, they actually watch my
Look at the
stuff.
content. Mhm.
Yeah, and it's like they let me do what I do, and I just kind of work them into my already content that I'm already creating, which is awesome because nobody likes ads. Nobody likes,
Yeah.
nobody likes a commercial. So for me to be able to still do the same things that I normally would do and then just incorporate a brand or put them in is perfect for me because I don't feel bad doing an ad or showing an ad because it's like both where I'm actually getting paid and then I'm already doing something that I'm doing already.
And I
So
think a lot of people look up to you in terms of being a content creator and obviously an advocate on multiple platforms and in communities. So, what advice would you give new content creators, or what are things that you wish you knew before you started your journey?
the big thing I think everyone will say is just start. If you're thinking about it or you've wanted to do this for a while or you look up to someone and you're like, oh, I wish I could do that, just do it. It's literally, that's the only setback of people is I wish I would have done it sooner is a big thing. And just do it. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to have all the right camera equipment. You don't have to edit special crazy things. I 99% of my stuff is on my phone with one little tripod thing, and look at
It
me, like,
works.
yeah, it's like I never thought, like, I started a YouTube back in the day, and I had I had a nice camera, I had a new laptop, and that was when like all my stuff got stolen and then I had to stop. But it's like, I wish I wouldn't have stopped because, then I would have just grown that much stronger and, would have had that loyalty of followers back then. But it's start now. It doesn't matter what you use, just and be yourself. People like you for you because you're not anybody else. Like there's a ton of people who make lunches. There's a ton of people who make food content, but I feel like people like me because I'm just being myself and I'm
Yeah.
just showing my love for food. I love food. I love eating. I love my family. That's what I show. So I think that's just a big thing of be yourself. Doesn't matter how silly you are or no one's perfect looking. I have pimples and like don't
Oh, yeah.
yeah, like don't overthink it. And people, I think if you're just authentic and yourself and you're just showing what you love, it just resonates with people and you'll succeed.
Definitely. Well, I mean, that's great advice. And I think a lot of people, it sounds like if your intentions are pure and you love what you're doing, because I think those are what your fans, your viewers, I mean, the girls call daddy's followers TikTok friends. So, your friends, in terms of, resonating with you and your stories and the food. And I think that's my first kind of path when our paths crossed was when my daughter was taking the Food Network camp when you were making the deviled eggs. So
I was so nervous too. I was like, oh my gosh, it's live, and it was my first cooking thing. So that's so awesome.
yeah, it was awesome, and your personality really shone through. So I mean, if you can impart like an inspirational message or thought at the, what would it be?
I think um, a lot of people think you have to have accomplished some things by a certain age, by a certain timeline, just being married or having kids or graduating college or having the career. There is no timeline, it's your life. Like I'm 34. on TikTok, and it'll happen. You just have to put in the hard work, work hard, play hard, be yourself, and do what you love. Go for your dreams, because that's part of what you're here for, is just doing what you want to do. And even if it's not, right now happening right then. I didn't think I was gonna be doing this at 34. I've always thought it would happen, but yeah, it will happen. You just have to just work hard and just be yourself.
And I think the timing is something to think about too, because some people's career really takes off in their 30s,
Right.
Excuse me.
That's the thing. Yeah. In my 20s, I was like, I was happy with what I was doing. But it's like, you don't know what's gonna happen. You just have to trust the process. And, if you don't have kids by 35, it's okay. There's people who have kids past 40s,
There's
so.
egg freezing
Right.
technology.
Yeah,
That's
there's
great.
so many options. Adopting,
Yeah.
so.
Well,
Yeah.
Jessica, thank you so much for joining us on the show. It was a pleasure, and just such a sweet, wonderful, resilient woman. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Stephanie, for having me, and it was nice meeting you. We'll have to keep in touch.
For sure. Thank you so much for listening to the Color Success Podcast. Listen, like, subscribe on all major streaming platforms, YouTube, IG, and if you want exclusive content, you can join our Patreon. All links can be found at colorofsuccesspodcast.com.